Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Let's not go there. In 1992 or thereabouts, John Gray produced Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, and I'm a little reticent to do any sort of talk on this book because it's probably been covered by numerous people over the last 20 plus years, and they've covered it in depth, I'm sure, because this book got to be a really big thing in the pop culture and the public consciousness, and he got to go on Oprah and Donahue. And I read this book along with lots of books before and after, and I know roughly where this book fits, so I might get myself into hot water with this one, but we'll see. I guess I should start off by saying what this book does do. It takes people who have relationship issues and helps walk them through steps that will help them understand the needs of their partner and to some degree their own needs, and gives them tools with which to help them solve those problems to a degree that the relationship can move forward and evolve into a interdependent relationship, which is the ultimate goal, I believe, of all relationships, unless I've got that wrong. So there are 13 chapters. Let's not go into the superstitious bent on this one, but it starts off with Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, and ends in Keeping the Magic of Love Alive, with various chapters in between talking about how men and women are different, how the men tend to be more practical and less emotional, and women tend to be more emotional and can be practical, but they tend to want to talk about a lot of things in a group situation, nurturing, expressing feelings, before they get to a point where they can then go on to solve a problem. I don't believe there's any difference in the ability of a male or a female to solve a problem. I just believe they go about it in different ways. Probably instilled with generation after generation of breeding, from thousands of years ago, when men tended to be the ones bringing the beef home, or rather the mammoth, and having to deal with those issues of killing the beastie and not being emotional about when you see your partner get trampled by a mammoth. You've got to decide whether you're going to take that mammoth down or stop and nurture your partner who's lying on the ground injured when there's a rampant mammoth around. So you tend to evolve abilities to suppress your emotions and get on with the job, because if you don't, then both of you could probably be killed by a big woolly mammoth. So that gives you an idea of perhaps why men are more results oriented. Women, on the other hand, were primarily raising the children, maybe out there socializing with their brethren, maybe in districts where there were lots of food available, where they could pick berries, pull tubers up. So they were killing time during the day, socializing and developing skills in that arena. So taking that now thousands of years down the road, John Gray has now got a book out which is still popular to this day, about how to address these differences between people, and how when a woman wants to deal with an issue, a man tends to go in there and try and fix it, and when a man has an issue, a woman wants to sit there and talk about it, when the man just wants to basically have the solution. So you've got, this is an oversimplification, but that's basically what this book tries to do, is raise people's awareness of their own way of dealing with matters, how they work or don't work in relationship to the opposite sex, and trying to understand people's needs, their own needs and the needs of the other person in the relationship, and put in practical solutions to help build relationships rather than remain in conflict. It does not, on the other hand, go into details about what I just mentioned about the past. This book picks up from the current status of a relationship. It doesn't ask the questions of how the guy got into this behavior, how the woman got into this behavior as an adult, which it doesn't give you as deep a context as to why people are in this conflict situation where the relationship is suffering and not developing and maybe even will break up, because you grow up in environments, and it's been shown and demonstrated with statistics that our society continues dysfunctional behaviors through generations. In effect, I think there's a Bible reference of the sins of the father, etc. It's been shown in different aspects of society that you grow up in a way that relates to the environment you find yourself in. So if you are constantly under pressure, then you grow up feeling stressed out about things in life. If you grow up in a privileged environment, you have everything on a platter. You don't have the same stresses. That affects your health. That affects a lot of things and how you respond to situations. When you don't have enough in life, you tend to struggle for things. You tend to go into a survival mode, and that gets built into your mantra, and you grow up with that. And a privileged person would have less of that. They would feel entitled, perhaps, and so forth and so on. This book doesn't cover any of that. It just takes the status quo, the conflicts in a relationship, and tries to give you an understanding, raise your level of awareness up to a point where you can deal consciously with conflict, deal consciously with your own needs, with the needs of your partner, and gives you some tools with which to do that. In context, again, with all the books I've read, this would get you on the first rung of the ladder. It would raise you up just enough to get you aware of your situation and give you some basic tools to move forward. There would be a need, I think, to read other books to get a more balanced world view of dysfunctions, relationship interactions, the dependency, the codependencies, etc., that you experience in relationships. Good book in taking the status quo and raising your consciousness up, but doesn't go anywhere else, in my opinion. And I think it got to be popular because it did actually have a level of approach that appealed to the masses and got their awareness levels up to some degree. And I thought that was good in and of itself. So despite the fact this guy may have been put down for being maybe not credible or the likes, and maybe just jumping on the bandwagon of popularity to make some money, I still think he had something valuable to offer. The book is an easy read. It goes into a lot of things. As you can see, I've flagged a lot of pages here about different aspects, but I won't go into them here because it's just an overview I was trying to give you, because in depth in this book I would probably step on too many toes, bringing points up that I feel weren't carried forward enough in terms of giving people an in-depth understanding of who they are, how they relate to the world, and how they relate to other people. So that's it for now.